I ask you to please subscribe to my YouTube channels before they throw me in Gitmo or something. Simply subscribe. Go to MontalvoReport.com or type in Bruce Montalvo. You can also find me on Fascist Book. That's Facebook for those of you with no sense of humor out there. And Twitter. Again, look for Bruce Montalvo on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. Please be sure to visit MontalvoReport.com as well, ladies and gentlemen. That's my baby. For hard-hitting news you won't get anywhere else. That's MontalvoReport.com. Again, because the freedom of the press is our right and our responsibility. Now, loyal listeners of the program know about the amazing deals and offers our sponsors here at the Bruce Montalvo Show offer our esteemed audience. Now, loyal listeners of the program can save up to 10% on many purchases with our affiliates. For example, if you ever wanted to own beautiful watercolor artwork, if so, you could save 10% now by using coupon code Bruce at DonO'Neill.com. That's coupon code Bruce at DonO'Neill.com. And if you're looking for the very best in high-quality superfoods, please be sure to visit sunpotion.com. That's sunpotion.com, transformational foods, offering the highest quality organic superfoods, powders, algae, seaweed, mushrooms, skin food, tonic herbs, anything you can think of, ladies and gentlemen, in alternative medicine and foods. Be sure to visit sunpotion.com or simply place an order by calling 805-798-7356. That's 805-798-7356. Sunpotion.com, ladies and gentlemen. Good friends of mine. I met the owner at Contact in the Desert, a great UFO convention. Now, ladies and gentlemen, today's program, speaking of Contact in the Desert, today's program is a mix of Hawaii Five-0 meets The Twilight Zone. And now that I said that, I bet you guys can't decide which theme song to get out of your heads. But seriously, ladies and gentlemen, my guest on today's program is a modern-day Albert Einstein. I mean, so intelligent. I was lucky enough to go to one of his lectures at Contact in the Desert. By far, one of the most intelligent speakers I've ever heard. My guest on today's program is William Brown, a research scientist at the Resonance Project Foundation and the Hawaii Institute for Unified Physics. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming my good friend, biophysicist and research scientist, William Brown, to the show. Hello, William. How are you?
Oh, great, Bruce. How are you? It's great to be on the show.
Absolutely. It's great to have you, man. I mean, it was just so wonderful meeting you out there in the desert, out there in Joshua Tree. It was hot out there, wasn't it?
Oh, man, yeah. That's, here in Hawaii, we get some good heat, but I wasn't used to that dry desert heat.
Right. Tell me about it. I mean, I felt like an egg boiling on a frying pan out there, man. But yeah, it was such a great experience. I mean, I got to go to your lecture. I got to meet one of my heroes, investigative journalist and reporter Jim Mars. I mean, really just a who's who in the UFO and science world that was there, wasn't it?
Oh yeah, that lineup of speakers was just phenomenal. I had some, personal heroes, so to speak,
Absolutely.
In that crowd. It was, researchers and investigators that I've been following their work for years. I mean, yeah, amazing.
Literally a who's who of UFO and research, period. Now, the convention, like I said, literally a who's who of top UFO radio personalities, researchers and scientists like yourself, Will. I was fascinated by the concept of your lecture in particular, which was titled The Science of Universal Life, Universal Genome, and Non-Local Interaction of the Living Universe, what you have dubbed the Living Matrix. Now, tell us a little bit about that.
Well, so it's really the idea of the interconnectedness of the universe. Now, this isn't in the trivial sense that, there are kind of physical, macroscopic interactions that will affect everything, in its vicinity.
Right.
Through cause and effect type relationships. That's where the word non-local comes into play, actually, is that this is really beyond cause and effect.
Wow.
In a way. So this interconnectedness, this information transduction network, it's really actually at the most fundamental levels of the mechanics of the universe. It's a unifying and organizing matrix,
right?
A system of intercommunication that actually information is transferred nearly instantaneously from any space-time coordinate, any point in space or time. There is a continuous and instantaneous exchange of information occurring. Now, the reason that we would posit such a thing is multivariate, but you actually, through the course of observing certain phenomena of the universe, and explaining the fundamental nature and mechanics of space and time itself, it is just apparent that this kind of interaction, this kind of system is in place. Now, one final thing on that is that we are a part of this matrix.
That's right.
Now, if you actually look at the role of the biological system of living organisms in cosmology, the role of the possible roles that the biological organisms or life can play to the cosmic mechanics as a whole, we actually seem to be poised at a very important position within this. Now, the biological system kind of epitomizes an information processing system. The biological system is, as far as the natural world is concerned, is the quintessence of the ability to receive, process, and transmit information for directed action.
Right.
Now, we are as connected into this universal matrix as any other object within the physical universe, structure within the physical universe. So the information that we are receiving, that we are processing, is being fed into this non-local, trans-temporal information network just as much as anything else in the physical universe. Now, when all of these processes are taken into account, all of the physical processes, there's many even living processes that are occurring throughout the universe. There's a kind of synergetic emergence through all of this non-local and trans-temporal information exchange. So where the sum of all of that activity, all of that information processing has a emergent characteristic that is greater than any of the individual parts. And so what you could imagine is that the sum of all of these physical and living processes of the universe as a whole endows this matrix with with sentient characteristics, with living characteristics. It is a living universal matrix.
No kidding. That's simply incredible. Truly amazing. Wow. Now, you were a member. You're a member of the Resonance Project, right? Did I say it right? Resonance.
Yeah.
Okay.
Resonance. So, like to resonate,
Right.
the Resonance Project Foundation.
Right, that's right. Now, they adhere to your beliefs, and your studies regarding the science of universal life, correct? Tell us about the Resonance Project.
So the founder is Nassim Haramein, a physicist. Again, just one of the more remarkable scientific figures or persons of our time. He's had a career of a number of just revolutionary ideas and theories. For physics in particular, they have really shone light on some areas within physics, within cosmology that were extremely befuddled with kind of confusion, to say the least. Mm-hmm. Well, he's also a inventor as well. And so one of the things that we're doing here is taking his physics and applying them, applying his understanding of universal mechanics that the rest of the scientific community at large is yet to come upon. Yet to fully
you guys are breaking ground here. You're going where no man has gone before in your field of science, correct?
Yeah. This is pushing the envelope, so to speak.
Right.
It's that
absolutely.
Because we're kind of a little bit mavericks.
Right.
We don't work very well, or even necessarily get along with some of the more academic types. Right. The universities and stuff. It's just that the paradigms that are being developed there, they're great. It's great work and everything, but it's just way too myopic for what we see. We see. They're kind of at step 2, and we're ready to be at step 5, so to speak.
Right.
So here at the project, we're developing, alternative technologies for free energy.
Right.
Working on regenerative health devices.
Right, and I saw that. I don't mean to cut you off, but I heard about that in your video. What was it? Coherence with space, time, and structure? I mean, you talked about revolutionary new ventures that you guys have been getting into, and specifically that which you just mentioned, regenerative beliefs, right? Regenerative studies.
Yeah, well, so, it just goes right back to the living universal matrix.
Right.
Because, so what is it? It's actually it's space-time. It's that fabric. We often hear about the fabric of space-time, the space-time manifold.
Right.
Like in that video, I explained it. That space isn't empty. Actually, it's the opposite. It's infinitely full. And what we see as physical is the tip of the iceberg of this cosmic plenum. It's the connection. It's our coherence with space, with this underlying organizing field.
Right.
It's most fundamental level, most mechanistic level.
Right.
It's information. It's really, it can be thought of as like almost holographically encoded information.
Like Wi-Fi, like a grid almost, right?
Yes. Well, so taking that analogy, like Wi-Fi, we're constantly receiving signals.
That's right.
Inform us at the cellular and molecular level. It's informing our physical structures, our biological system, how to function optimally. Well, what can happen is decoherence. There can become obstructions or blocks in the signal. So you can think of it actually more like an interference in your Wi-Fi signal.
Wow. Okay.
You're operating a microwave next to your laptop or something. So you get an interference. Well, it's going to start malfunctioning. You're not going to be able to find the web page you need, access the information you need. As an analogy, even the body is operating much in the same way. So what we posit is that whenever there's a disease, a physical malady, a physical problem, at the most basic level, if you really got to the root of what's causing that disease, we have a myriad of diseases,
right.
Thousands of different names for things when the body, when things go wrong in the body, not necessarily including pathogens, infectious organisms, although it's still related. So we think there's 1,000 different causes. But really, if you got to the most basic level, there's one cause. And that one cause is decoherence or incoherence, decoupling with the underlying information patterns, the underlying information network that is that normally would constantly be instructing each molecule, each cell, each tissue on the optimal function. Well, so really, the future of medicine, I don't know how far off we are from realizing this kind of capabilities, but is it if you can have devices that they don't look at treating symptoms at all, they go to the root of the problem.
They work on the molecular structure, right?
Yeah. So this is at, the atomic and molecular level that we're talking about. So this could be considered kind of global biomedicine.
Wow.
Global in the sense that through resonance, you're affecting a large aggregate or a large
A body or a network, right?
yeah. Well. If you're thinking about, the molecular level, it's many thousands of interconnected molecules.
Right.
So although you're affecting it at the nanoscale, it is almost macroscopic or microscopic in the way that it's being done. But it is. So you're getting you're making the changes at the most basic or fundamental level.
That's right.
So it's like if you can change the way that the molecules are functioning in the body, the biomolecules, the macromolecular assemblies, and you can do that through quantum resonance. You can increase the coherence with the natural intrinsic information network, their information system, because it's just that when you get down to it, it's all about information.
Right.
Right,
you're absolutely right. Everything we do is information. From our brains to our fingertips. To move a fingertip, to blink an eye, it's all transference of electrical energy from the brain, right?
Yeah. Now, that is actually can be taken as another analogy, another metaphor. So, almost anything that our body accomplishes, anything that it does, whenever we create something, just as an example, painting,
right,
fix a car, whatever, that is being achieved by information coming from the brain to our body. Well, that so that's a natural system, right? That emerged naturally from the universal mechanics of our physical universe.
That's right.
Well, so where would the template for such a system come from? Well,
exactly.
It comes from the fact that that's how universal mechanics are operated. That is the physical template, or I should say the energetic or information template of the universe itself. So just like that information being fed from our brain or information communication network into the body to affect change, well, this living matrix, you can think of it as a cosmic brain.
Wow.
Now, not to necessarily anthropomorphize it, make it seem like it necessarily has human characteristics. I'm not saying that exactly.
Give it personification, right?
Yeah. Well, it's the information being fed from that cosmic mind, that non-local brain, the information being fed into the physical structures that we perceive, that is animating them, giving them structure. So, physical processes are occurring with, the underlying signals of information that's being fed.
Right.
So,
absolutely.
Yeah.
That's incredible, Will. Moving on, because I know you could go for hours. I only paid you 1 hour, which is what we want. But now let's go back to Contact in the Desert 2013. How awesome of an experience was that for you? I was able to be there on the Friday, which you did your lecture, but I wasn't able to stay there. Throughout the week, I got to do the show, come back to Los Angeles and whatnot. But did you get to see the Preset meteor shower? How spectacular? If you did, how spectacular was it?
So the event, where we Friday and Saturday night, we had Friday and Saturday night,
right.
We had pretty large gatherings, kind of in the central pavilion area. They had a stage where there's music, other guest speakers, and that was definitely one of the highlights of the entire conference, because at one point the entire assembly of people, we turned our gaze upwards to the stars, right. And it's like you had the Perseid meteor shower, so as we were admiring that beautiful.
So jealous.
Nice. Man, so you had to leave. You didn't get to get in on that.
No, I interviewed the legendary Jim Mars. Went to your lecture, went to Jim Mars's lecture, got to meet David Wilcock and all them, William Henry, and I had to hightail it back to Los Angeles, man, my freak kingdom. No, but that's awesome. I'm very happy. I can't wait for them to do it again. I'm very happy that they're doing this at Joshua Tree, the first annual one. So we're hoping that they'll keep doing it.
Yeah, I'd have to say they're already getting ready for the next one.
Awesome. Awesome.
Yeah. It's there will be a sequel, if not many more.
Right, and we'll be there. We'll be there, right, Will?
I'll be there for sure. That was just, such an awesome event. It was, I was totally activated. To be able to be in one place where you got so many conversations with brilliant individuals such as yourself, getting to speak with you, it was just like, man, I need more of that. It's like,
absolutely, and I think you had a one-up on all the other speakers because where you did your lecture, the room, it actually had a AC, I think, or it had a fan or something, because we were scorching our butts off.
In those other rooms? Yeah. I did a presentation in one of the other presentation halls, and it was a little bit stuffy in there.
Boy, was it. Right, yeah, it was definitely a great time for both of us. Now, Will, let's go back to your lecture. Again, an amazing lecture. I learned so much that day. You basically said in your lecture, the human body is built for time travel. Explain that to our listening audience.
Yeah, so now when I had said that, I was meaning in the non-trivial sense.
Right.
So, actual, what we would consider like instantaneous teleportation.
Wow.
Now, I'll first, though, ease into why I would have such a extreme proposition. Right? That's pretty amazing to say such a thing. Well, if you go to the more trivial sense of time travel, just not so phenomenal, not so like outstanding. Right. So the kind of more trivial sense, we are constitutively, that is, we're always time traveling. Now, this is evident in from the general theory of relativity, your how you physically interact in the universe determines your travel through time.
Right.
So, you can literally travel further into time than other individuals, depending on your relative velocity, let's say.
Right.
So if you take a flight, an airplane flight around the world, it's going to be a long flight. You're going at a high speed. You're going to have traveled, a little bit more into the future than somebody who wasn't traveling at that velocity. So, time travel is not actually that extraordinary of an idea, just because, as the general theory of relativity shows, any travel through space is de facto or necessarily a travel through time. It's space-time. So how you travel through space is actually going to change how you travel through time.
Right.
Yeah. Well, so that's one aspect of it, but that's trivial. You're not really saying anything too amazing. Although there are some pretty amazing aspects once you get up to the velocity of the speed of light. Well, even Albert Einstein himself, mentioned how time moves differently depending on your state.
That's right.
Even your mood,
Well, is it possible, I'm sorry to cut you off, but is it possible that we time travel in our sleep? And speaking of Albert Einstein, is it? What about these wormholes? Is it possible to time travel through these wormholes, or these curvatures in space and time, as he stated?
Yeah, absolutely. So,
wow.
Yeah, so the wormholes are naturally occurring objects, structures. They're actually intrinsic and essential to universal mechanics, even cosmogenesis, the generation of new universes.
Right.
So wormholes are not as exotic as a structure as we would believe. There's a lot. I can go into a lot on that, but it gets pretty in depth, maybe even a little bit too technical. But even the ability, though, to create wormholes. So now we're not just talking about jumping a little bit ahead into time or so. Wormholes would allow you to do what would appear to be like traveling backwards in time.
To another dimension, almost.
Yeah, it would be a parallel coexisting reality, a parallel world, a parallel Earth, parallel universe.
Amazing.
Yeah. But you can make these. The universe does it all the time. All you need is negative energy. Well, there's something called the Dirac sea, after Paul Dirac, one of the famous physicists. One of the amazing things he realized is that there must be a nearly infinite sea of negative energy electrons.
Mm-hmm.
That's actually one of the things that is filling space. That's one of the things that space is filled out of.
Right.
So there is negative energy all around us.
Well, could that negative energy be construed or considered dark matter? I mean, that matter it's such an enigma as well. I mean, many researchers they say that our space, is the space is made up of about 84.5% of this elusive matter. Is that true?
Well, yeah. This is where it gets pretty interesting because actually, so this sea of negative energy electrons, negative mass, consequently,
right.
That actually produces what is known as the cosmological constant. So that actually has the effect of causing space to expand.
Wow.
So, one of the things that we have is the accelerating expansion of the universe. What force is causing it to expand? Well, it's that space is filled with negative energy, negative mass, kind of like the opposite of gravitational energy, where it collapses in. Right? This makes it go out. Now, the dark matter, dark energy, that is a little bit different. So now there's several caveats to this idea. They posit the dark matter was postulated or expounded because when you look at a galaxy, you see that it has this rotational characteristic, the galactic disk, that galactic plane.
That's right.
If you go across the plane, it's spinning uniformly at the same speed. Well, if it was due to the visible matter that you could see, it should be spinning slower at the edge of the disk than at the center. If it was just due to the gravitational energy, the gravitational force exerted by matter that can be seen,
right?
The light matter, So you see that, in order for the entire galactic plane, entire disk, to spin at the same uniform speed, you would need like 85% more matter than what is seen here. So it must be there. Where is it at? Dark matter.
Absolutely.
What is not being considered here is even how that galaxy formed in the first place. And it does involve what you can't see. One of the things that you can't see is this underlying space-time structure, the underlying space-time dynamics. So that space-time manifold, that space-time matrix, is not sitting there motionless.
Right.
It's very dynamic. It's a fluid.
It's alive.
It's alive, and it has superconducting, superfluid characteristics. You can think, if you think about, this is a good analogy. If you think about like a cup of coffee, that coffee is space-time. Well, now you go and you stir that, get a little whirlpool going.
That's right. You
got a spinning whirlpool. You pour some cream into that, you'll form a galactic disk. You'll see it.
Wow.
You'll have the spiral arms and everything, the galactic nucleus, etc. And it's spinning at the same uniform speed. Well, it's because it's not exactly that the galaxy is spinning, it's that the space is spinning, and the galaxy is being moved by that. So, you've got the spinning fluid. You plop a galaxy in there, figuratively, so to speak.
Right.
That's going to spin it, and it's going to be at a uniform speed all the way to the edge of the disk. Now, it will be spinning
Great
faster.
Analogy.
Oh, thank you. It will be spinning faster in the center because, that was another one of Einstein's, great just paradigm shifting insights, is that, well, gravity as a force can be explained geometrically, topologically. It can be explained simply as a depression, as a perturbation in the space-time manifold. So if you think of it as like a trampoline, and it's normally flat, well, you put some mass in there, like a bowling ball, it causes it to, you get a little dimple, now you got a bowling ball in the center of the trampoline. You throw in a golf ball, let's say. What's the golf ball going to do? It'll roll around and start, circling around the bowling ball. It'll come in and fall into it. Well, so that was his great insight, the geometrization, the space-time manifold itself. Well, so this is one of the things where Nassim Haramein came with some amazing insight, and I actually thought of this myself independently as well, just to throw that out there. So when I heard Nassim say it, I was blown away. But
you're like, man, I should have trademarked that before he did.
well, because it was me, I was like, oh, well, I'm probably wrong. But to hear somewhere like Nassim say it, it was like, whoa, okay.
Just solidified what you believed in.
Yeah. Gave it. I was like, all right, I'm gonna, pursue this a little bit more. But the idea, the theory. So you've got that depression, that dimple. Well, now, the golf ball rolls right into the bowling ball.
Right.
But planets around the sun, stars around the galactic center, they don't fall into the center of that depression. Why not? Well,
exactly.
If it was spinning as well, so now you cause it to spin. So you got the depression, the perturbation in the manifold where it's like, causing a well, for things to fall into. Well, now if it's spinning, you have a centripetal force. Centrifugal and centripetal force. So, there's a force from the spin that is pushing out. And there's a force from, the depression in the space-time fabric that is pulling in. And, they can, there's a balance point where the outward force and the inward force balances out. That's a stable orbit. It's the spinning. It's adding the spin to Einstein's metric. It's not just sitting there stable. Now this becomes hugely important with wormholes and stargates.
Right.
Because now take the case scenario of a black hole. Now the way that is described mathematically is that, so instead of a bowling ball, you've got something that's so massive that it rips a hole through the center of that trampoline.
Right.
And you put it in there,
like superconducting.
Yeah, and it's like, well, now, just say that you want to get to the other side of that trampoline. Normally, you'd have to walk all the way around or something like that.
Right.
Well, now you've got a little doorway through the center. You can just jump through this doorway. Well, one of the things is that normally, how that's described is you've got the formation of, it's called a singularity, where you have something of such high mass, infinite density, that it rips a hole in the space-time metric, so to speak, space-time fabric. Now, I don't think that ever actually occurs because there's logical inconsistencies with that. What actually happens is that when you consider that it's spinning, it's also spinning. That this massive object that's gonna, rip a hole,
Right.
in the space-time fabric. Well, it actually begins spinning at close to the speed of light. It's
Amazing.
rotating so quickly. What that does is that you can actually get a traversable wormhole. You've got, it's now called a ring singularity. So, in the analogy I was using, you've got this massive object that rips a hole in the center of the trampoline. That's analogous to, ripping a hole open in space-time.
Amazing. Now, unfortunately, Will, we are running short on time. But I want to ask you. I want to ask you one more question. Literally, I've had a blast. Thank you so much for being on. But we got a couple of more questions before we go off. Let's see. Let's talk about phantom limb syndrome. I heard you talk about that a little bit at your lecture, and that's basically what you've been studying. We touched on that earlier in the broadcast, how you're looking into regenerative studies and whatnot. I mean, tell us, phantom limb syndrome. I mean, what causes someone who lost their arm to still feel it there, regardless of it being gone?
There are actual neurodynamics involved in that. So the brain can actually cause what can be considered false signals. Now, this isn't entirely it, but you have a corresponding area of the brain that is associated with that limb. For instance, oftentimes in phantom limb syndrome, you can get the sensation of pain. Is or aching even. That's kind of a false signal being created by the brain. And it can be cured by putting a mirror up against the side of the body missing the arm, and you let the brain see the reflection of, say you're missing your right arm, you let the brain see the reflection of the left arm. It thinks the right arm's there, and it's like, oh wait, everything's okay. The pain is relieved. That's one aspect of it. Another possibility, though, is, and really, I think what is more important is that, that underlying morphogenetic field.
That's right.
That even though the part of your arm that you can see is gone, the part of your arm that you can't see is still there.
Wow.
This is with any part of the body. Almost kind of like that. We got the light matter that you can't see and the dark matter that you can't see.
Exactly.
With the galaxy, it's what you can't see that is causing the behaviors and phenomena of what you can see.
Amazing.
Even at the cosmological scale. Same thing here.
Wow, amazing, Will. Unfortunately, Will, we are out of time.
Man.
It went by so fast, didn't it?
It always does. It's like there's just so much to talk about, and I take too damn long to do it.
We can keep going, but I gotta wire them $200 more. But maybe next time. But Will, thank you so much for being on the program. Like I said, we're out of time, but we got your website linked up on MontalvoReport.com. But give our listening audience your website or email so they can contact you if they wish.
Excellent. Yeah. So my website is William Brown, scienceoflife.com. So it's all one word, William Brown, scienceoflife.com. So, it's the science of universal life That's the work that's being presented there. I can be contacted. I have a contact link there, via email. And I welcome questions, comments, inquiries, anything like that.
Right.
I may not always get to answer them, but I try. This is what I like to talk about.
Absolutely. And they can contact you at resonance.is. Right? Yes. Yeah. Excellent. Well, Will, thank you so much. I got to bring you on again and chat some more about dark matter and everything you know about. You're one of the most intelligent scientists, biophysicists I've ever had the pleasure to meet. Thank you, Will, for being on.
Thank you, Bruce.
Thank you.